Hi gorgeous! Happy Frugal Friday to you. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to recreate this look using the new Revealed 3 palette from Coastal Scents, and I'll also be giving you my full review on it at the end of the video. And to start things off, I am first applying an eyeshadow primer, and I'm using the one from Milani. I am also applying a white base using NYX's Jumbo Pencil in Milk, and I'm only applying this onto the inner half of the mobile lid. And then I'm taking an angled brush and blending along the edges to get rid of any harsh lines. First eyeshadow I'm taking from the palette is that light baby pink, and I'm applying this wet by spritzing it with the e.l.f. makeup mist and setting spray and applying that light pink onto the inner third of the lid over where we applied that white base. This color did not want to show up on its own the first time that I applied it, but I found that putting that white base down helped it to pop a lot more. Then I'm taking the shade to the right of the pink eyeshadow. This is a reddish purple. It reminds me a lot of MAC's Nocturnal. And I'm applying this onto the middle of the lid and then blending it back into that baby pink on the inner third. With this gorgeous dark purple, I'm applying this color onto the outer third of the lid and blending it back into that lighter purple that we applied on the middle of the lid. For our crease color, I'm taking this cool toned neutral and applying it with a Makeup Geek brush. I believe this is the Stiff Dome brush. And to add a little bit more purple into the look, I'm taking this lighter purple shade and layering that over where we applied that cool neutral in the crease. And to blend out the harsh edges, I'm taking the second highlighting shade at the top of the palette and using this with a Sigma E25 blending brush, buffing along the edges to sheer them out. To add some definition onto my lash line, I'm going in with this sparkly black, and I'm taking an angled brush from Sigma and defining the lash line. And for my brows, I'm using one of NYX's Eyebrow Gels in the shade Blonde, and I'm also using the same angled brush that I used before on the lash line. This is a great brow product. Will not move, stays put. It's actually a little bit harder to remove at the end of the day. And I'm finishing the eyes with a pair of false eyelashes from Salon Professional in number 615. For my face, I'm applying my color correctors, and I can see that Inky has been using my yellow concealer again. So I'm applying the yellow concealer under the eyes, the green concealer to any red spots on my face, and then I'm applying my concealer over the yellow concealer and a foundation onto the rest of my face. And then I'm going in with the Real Techniques Beauty Blending Sponge, which has ripped, by the way, already. I know, I only washed this one time, and when I washed it, it ended up ripping. So I guess I'm gonna have to be really careful with this one. Anyway, I'm taking this damp beauty blending sponge and blending everything together on the face. And with that same damp beauty blending sponge, I'm also taking some translucent powder from Coty's Airspun line and using that to set the T-zone. Usually when you order from Coastal Scents, they send you really cool samples to try, and so they sent me this Forever Blush sample set. And I'm going to try the shade called Enchanting. It's a really light pink, almost like a Barbie pink. Applying it very lightly, really pretty color, but a little bit goes a long way. And the lipstick that I'm using is from Rimmel. This is in the shade Pink Blush, and I feel like it complements the whole look perfectly. Okay, so I do want to say that I just got this palette literally a day ago, so I haven't had that much time to use it, and the tutorial that you just saw was actually my first time using this palette. And I would like a little bit more time with a palette before I formulate a solid opinion with it as to whether or not I really like it or really don't like it. But I will give you my first impressions just after using it in this look. Initially, what I will tell you is that you need a really great primer to get the eyeshadows to show up. I used the Wet n Wild Fergie primer to begin with when I was swatching these on my arm, and that did not work worth a flip. That's actually the worst eyeshadow primer you can use with these eyeshadows because they just apply so sheer even over the primer. So I did end up using the Urban Decay Primer Potion. That worked beautifully with these eyeshadows. They showed up amazing in the swatches. Kind of disappointed in the pigmentation of some of these eyeshadows. I feel like not every eyeshadow in this palette was as pigmented as it could be. There were a lot of ones that applied a little bit too sheer for my liking, and I did have to apply them wet like you saw in today's tutorial. I don't really like to have to do that with an eyeshadow, and I don't want to have to layer it over a white base to get it to show up either, so that was a little frustrating for me. And that really struck me as odd because the first revealed palette and the second revealed palette from Coastal Scents were both really great in terms of pigmentation, and the eyeshadows were strong, and there were maybe like 1 or 2 duds in those palettes, but there were a lot more than 1 or 2 duds in this palette. We'll just take a minute to talk about the color range because I feel like the color range is fantastic, and I like that they included so many purples in this palette. These eyeshadow manufacturers need to create more purple eyeshadow palettes. I don't know what they are thinking, but they are missing the boat there because purple is a universal color. Everybody can wear purple, so why are there not more purple palettes? Got a little bit off track there. Okay, let me step off my soapbox and come back to the review. So when I first posted a picture of this on Instagram, several of you had asked me to compare it to the first 2 palettes that Revealed put out. And so I did that. I spent a good portion of time today, about 2 hours worth, swatching all 3 of these palettes. Woo! Very happy to tell you that you're not getting one single dupe from these 2 palettes in the Revealed 3. You're getting 20 brand new eyeshadows in this palette, and I will give you a side-by-side comparison between this and these right here. Like I said before, I would like a little bit more time to play around with this palette, experiment with it more, come up with some more great looks for you before I make a strong opinion as to whether I love it or I hate it. Hate's a strong word. I should say dislike it. But what I can tell you is that for $20, it's a great price for 20 eyeshadows. You're talking $1 an eyeshadow. Most of these are really great in terms of pigmentation. The color range is awesome. And I love the slim, compact design that they do with their palettes. So if you're looking for something that has purples, this is, I feel like, a good one to try. Not a great one, but a good one. So let me know if you picked up this palette, what you think about it. I would love to hear your thoughts on it as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you again next Friday. Ah, beautiful! If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to be notified of new Frugal Friday episodes, hit that big pink subscribe button right down there. Yeah, you know that big thing down there? Click it! Hungry, feed me!